Hi, hey, I'm Morgan, and today I'm here to bring you my July wrap-up. July was a pretty good reading month for me. Not my best, not my worst by any means. I read 5 books in the month of July, and I figured I would try something different with this wrap-up. I'm going to go by star rating from my least starred to my highest reviewed books rather than going chronologically. So the first book I'm going to talk about, I rated a 3.5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, but the more that I think about it, I'm probably going to bump it down to a 3 or a 2.5, and that is Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. This is one that I read during the Booktubeathon, which I'm sure most of you know that I took part of if you didn't watch my vlogs. This book follows our main character Emily, who is very attached to her best friend Sloane, and then Sloane disappears for the summer and leaves behind a list of 13 things that she wants Emily to do. Emily teams up with some friends and she does these things on this list, hoping that it will bring Sloane back to her. I just felt that this was not a very strong novel. I think that the side characters were ones that I cared about more than the main characters. I felt like Sloane was being perceived as Emily's manic pixie dream girl, which I didn't like very much, and I just felt like it was a very codependent relationship and wasn't very healthy between Emily and Sloane. I didn't like the way that their friendship was carried out throughout the book, so my rating is still like, I'm still considering it. The next book that I gave 3.5 out of 5 stars to this month was Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. This is her memoir, and I thoroughly enjoyed this. Lauren spends a lot of her time talking about her childhood, how she got into acting, how she got on Gilmore Girls, and I really liked it. I think if you liked Gilmore Girls and you want to know how she felt when she came back for A Year in the Life, this is definitely one to check out. She kind of kept a diary while they were filming A Year in the Life, and you get to read some of those excerpts and you get to read how she was feeling while filming A Year in the Life, and I think that was a really nice touch. I think that last part of the book was probably my favorite part. Lauren Graham writes the way that she talks, and I really did enjoy this one. I love reading celebrity memoirs, especially celebrities that I enjoy. The next book I'm going to talk about, I gave 4 out of 5 stars, and it is also one I read during Booktubeathon this summer, and that was The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. I can't believe it took me this long to read this book. I loved it. This book follows Charlie, and he is about to enter his first year of high school, and he's really nervous about it, so he is writing letters to an anonymous friend the entire story. So you're reading Charlie's letters and Charlie's account of his first year of high school, and it's a really important book. It tackles a lot of very important issues like mental illness and sexual assault and friendship and love and abusive relationships, and I think that this book is definitely deserving of all the hype that it has gotten and of all of the praise that it's gotten. I just can't believe it took me this long to read it. I absolutely adored it. I do think this is a really important novel. I think that it's really good for like people going into high school. I think that if you read this before your first year of high school, you're pretty much golden. I know some people got to read this as required reading. My school didn't do that, so I kind of missed the hype train for this one, but better late than never. The last 2 books that I read in the month of July, I rated 5 out of 5 stars, so I'm pretty jazzed about them. The first one I'm going to talk about is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. This is the first book in the Shades of Magic trilogy. I buddy read this with my friend Jessie over at Jessie's Shelf. It was my first buddy read, and it was so much fun. I think that made the experience of reading this book a lot more enjoyable, but if we weren't buddy reading and gushing about it together, I would have enjoyed it all the same. This follows our main character Kel. He's able to teleport between 4 different parallel Londons. There's Red London, White London, Grey London, and the mysterious Black London. People have felt that Black London hasn't existed for a while, and each London has a different varying system of magic and of recognizing magic. He carries a mysterious Black London object into another London and teams up with this pirate, Lila Bard, and they go on this adventure to return this artifact back to Black London, and it was funny and adventurous and action-packed, and I loved it. This was my first Schwab, and I was not disappointed in the slightest. And the last book that I read in July, and the last book I read for Booktubeathon, was a 5 out of 5 star read for me, and I'm so glad it was The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness. I loved this book, guys. Okay, like I could not gush enough about this book if I tried. It was so good. It was so sweet. A lot of YA novels, especially like adventurous stories or fantasy stories, include the chosen one trope, and this is the exact opposite of that. This book features just the people trying to get on with their everyday life while there's a bigger story going on that the indie kids, who are the chosen ones of this novel, are living out. This follows our main character Mikey and him, his sister Mel, his best friend Jared, and love of his life, Henna, are just trying to get through their senior year of high school without the indie kids blowing up the school again. And I absolutely adored this. There was mental illness representation, there was queer representation in this book, stories of friendship and of love and of sticking together. Mikey deals with OCD and his sister Mel is recovering from an eating disorder in this book, and the representation of OCD was exceptionally authentic and just beautiful. I have OCD, so I really like reading books where I see myself and my own mental illness represented so wonderfully, and I'm gonna cherish this book forever. This was my first like full Patrick Ness novel, and I'm very excited. I loved it. I loved it so much, and I can't wait to read more Patrick Ness. So you guys, there you have it. That was my July wrap up. I'm very happy with all of the books that I read this month, except for maybe one. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Leave me comments on what you read in the month of July, if you've read any of these books and what you felt about them. If you want to see more of my content, you can always subscribe. I'm going to be uploading every Monday, Wednesday, and potentially Friday from now on. And if you want to see my mug in any other areas besides the booktubes, my social media links are in the description. I'd love to talk to you guys and we can discuss bookish things. I'm a huge nerd, so that's always fun. But like I said, my name is Morgan. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day and happy reading. Okay, bye!